everybody, it's Mel. Thank you for joining me today for a review of my 45 before 45. A few years ago now, I made a list of 45 books that I wanted to read before I turned 45. Some of the books I put on the list because they were recommendations from various different family members, friends, etc. Some of the books I put on the list because they have been on my shelves for a long time and I thought that it was high time that I read them. Today I'm going to review that list and see what I've done with those books. Have I read them? Have I kept them? Have I unhauled them? Are they still on my pile to be read? So that's the plan for the video today. I am not going to film record the video from previous and put it on screen and see how I went. I would usually do that and sort of talk you through it as I watched myself and we could watch it together, but it feels like an awful lot of effort, and to be honest with you, I don't know that I'm up for that much effort. As I suspected would happen, Baby Book Fiend is getting a lot more active and interactive, which is amazing, but it does mean that I'm finding I have a little bit less time for hobbies and things like that, which is partly because of my own self, and anyway, we don't need to go into that. You're not here for that. You're here for the 45 before 45 review. So yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just go through the list. I will put the book on screen, however, so you can see what it is, and yeah, we'll discuss if I've read it or not. I think what I'm going to do, if I have read more than half, then I just get a free pass. We'll just leave it as a free pass. I don't really get a reward, I just get a free pass to it equals nothing. If, however, I've read less than half, I think I'm going to have to unhaul a book. Maybe even 2 books? Let's go with 2 books. That feels right. If I've read less than half of 45, which is really only like 22 and a half, let's say 22, then I think it's like 3 years? It's at least 2 years, but I think it's 3 years since I made this list, which means I should really have managed to read 22 books. So if I've read less than 22 books, I have to unhaul 2 books. If I have read more, then I just get a free pass. Because I do haul books every now and then and it doesn't feel like the right thing to add more just because I still would have 22 books to read. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's what we're going to do. So let's have a look at the list. You won't see it because I am not going to screen record, but I am going to colour in red if I haven't read it and purple if I have, because of course purple. Yeah, so we'll see where we're at, just to help me to kind of count it and visualize it. Alright, so the first book that I have on the list was a book recommended to me by my mum, and that is Songlines. It's actually up here on my borrowed books shelf on the top of this to be read shelf, and no, I have not read it yet, which is terrible because I borrowed it from my mum like 2.5 years ago or something like that. So that's going to be coloured red, and we're not off to a great start because the second book that I have on this list is The Natural Navigator, which was recommended to me by my dad, and it is also sitting on the top of that shelf unread. So we're not doing too well to begin with. We have 2 red books already, or unread books, coloured in red. That might be slightly confusing. Maybe I should colour them in a different colour so that every time I say that, I'm not just creating confusion. Let's colour that in a orange, and we'll make it red if I have, because it's red. Okay, Gone by Michael Grant, which was sent to me and therefore recommended to me by my sister Carol, and I haven't read that one yet either, and that was sent to me for my birthday a few years ago now, so sorry about that, Carol. I do intend to read it. Like all the books on my shelf, I always intend to read them. So 3 out of 3 unread so far is not great, but let's keep going and see how we go. The Secrets of Jin Shi, and I don't know who that's written by because I didn't write that down. Not read as well. That was recommended to me by my other sister Julie, and I have not read that one yet either. 4 out of 4 unread. I really hope there's some books that as I go down I will have read, because otherwise I'm unhauling some books. Alright, so then we have 3 books which are the First Law trilogy. Is that right? Yes, by Joe Abercrombie. And I have in fact read the first book in that series. I do intend to reread it because I haven't read the other 2 books. Oh, that means to be read because it's red. I haven't read the other 2 books. So we're still not doing well, guys. We've still got 6 out of 7 unread. Okay. That's not amazing. Alright, The Great Believers, which was recommended to me by my friend Max and sent to me by my friend Ellie from Earl Grey Books, and I've not read that one either. Honestly, I feel bad about this because all these people went out of their way to think up recommendations for me, and did I read them? No. I'm a bad friend. I hope you can forgive me. Again, Rachel, which my friend Rachel bought for me for my birthday a few years ago. We did start to read it together. Sorry. Itchy. We did start to read it together, but then there was some infertility discussed on page, and at the time that was way too hard for me to read. Now I could probably read it, but I just haven't quite got around to it yet. But at the time it was way too hard because I was in the midst of that myself, so I didn't want to read it. So it is unread, but I feel like that's a bit different because there's a reason, even though technically it's still unread. Okay, Daughter of the Forest, lent to me and recommended to me by many people, but lent to me and recommended me specifically for this list by my friend Bibiana, and I have not read it because, again, I suck. Act Your Age, Eve Brown. Thank goodness we have a book that I have read. Recommended by my friend Michelle, and did read that one. And that finished the series. So, yay on both counts. Although I'm still only 2 out of 11, so I'm still not doing great, but at least I read it. The Reader's a Broken Wheel, recommended by Katerina Bivold. Recommended by the lovely Helen from Helen's Bookhaven. Again, I haven't read it. Again, because I'm a terrible person. Really not doing well, am I? Like, really badly. Okay, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Recommended to me by Ellie. Not read. In theory, my reasoning for not having read A Daughter of the Forest or Percy Jackson is because I didn't want to start a new series when I've got other series on the go. But in reality, that's crap because I do start new series all the time. So I should just get over that because, like, that's ridiculous. But anyway, that's kind of my excuse, but it's not an excuse at all, is it, really? But yeah, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I've never read the Percy Jackson series. I'm very sorry. I will at some point. I will. Okay. Dude, I'm unhauling some books, aren't I? Okay. Alright. Game Board of the Gods, recommended by Rochelle Mead, recommended by Kat from Stars and Embers. She doesn't upload very much these days, but she's still fairly active on Instagram, so I will link her channel and Instagram below. By the way, if any of these people are YouTubers, booktubers, I will link them below, just so you know. Okay, that is also unread. Sorry, Kat. I really, really appreciate all of these recommendations. I really do. I'm just terrible. Madam by Phoebe Wynne was recommended by Victoria, and I did read that one. I read it in a What Victoria Read Made Me Read These Books vlog, so I'll link that down below, and you should go and check all these people out also, if I haven't said that already. But that comes up to be read, so yay! Still doing terribly, but at least I have 3 read now. The Longing of Lone Wolves by Lana Petchik. I have not read. That was recommended to me by the lovely Lana. But I did read Fantasy of Frost, which was also recommended to me by Lana. So at least I read one of the books. Before the Coffee Gets Cold was recommended to me by Brooke from a channel which I don't think she's uploaded for quite a while, but I'll link her channel below. And I have read that one, so yay. The Summer That Everything Melted by Tiffany McDaniels, I have not read. That was recommended to me by Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Catastrophe, and I really appreciate it. Once again, Olivia, thank you so much, but I haven't read it. I'm a terrible person, guys. The Rosie Project by Graham Simsian was recommended to me by Mo from a channel that no longer exists as far as I'm aware, but again, they're active on Instagram, so I will link Instagram below, and I haven't read it. I feel really bad. Okay, The Great Alone recommended by Crystal from Bond Book Reviews. The Great Alone by Kristen Hannah. I haven't read. This is not looking good. The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood, recommended by Nell, formerly of Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. I have not read. Piranesi, recommended by Scott, still currently from Gunpowder Fiction and Plot. I have not read either. Okay, 23, and I've only read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh dear. Alright, if I have unhauled them, if I decided I didn't want to read them, I'm counting them as read. Because, like, I at least made a decision about them. Does that make sense? Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I have read. Woohoo! Whoops, what did I just do? It does not matter. Crooked Kingdom. I have read. I finally read it. Woohoo! Okay. A Reaper at the Gates and A Sky Beyond the Storm are both books by Sabati here. And I read the first 2 books in the series, and then I just decided that I wasn't really that interested in them, so I have unhauled them. But I read the first 2 books, so I'm going to count them as read, like I said, because I unhauled them. I decided not to read them, so I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it makes sense to me. The Sword of Kaigan I have read. Attila Coulter and The Narrowway Hunt, sent to me by the lovely Ellie from Elgrey Books, I have not read. I actually unhauled it because it got completely destroyed and I need to get a new copy. City of Dragons and Blood of Dragons are 2 books in the Realm of the Elderling series that at the time I hadn't read, and now I have read them, so I can give them a mark off, which is amazing. Riviera Gold I have read, but Castle Shade I haven't read. They are books in the Mary Russell series, which is ongoing, and I keep saying it's my favourite and then I don't prioritise reading them. But it's one of my favourite books series, so I really need to prioritise reading Castle Shade. But I have read Riviera Gold, so yeah. An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green I have read and I did enjoy. However, I have not yet continued and read A Beautifully Foolish Endeavour, but I really do need to. Okay, Children of Blood and Bone and Children of Virtue and Vengeance. I've read half of Children of Blood and Bone and I was enjoying it, but I put it down. I can't remember why. It was something to do with a readathon, and then I haven't picked it up again, and then I haven't read Children of Virtue and Vengeance, so I'm going to have to count them both as unread, aren't I? Okay, A Court of Silver Flames I'm currently reading, so I'm going to count them as read because I'm definitely going to read that and finish it this month. The Betrayals by Bridget Collins I haven't read yet. The Watchmaker of Filigree Street I haven't read yet. I mean, at least it's not just books that people recommend. At least it's books I make myself want to read. The Dutch House I unhauled, decided I didn't care, so I'm marking that as read because I've done something with it. Heirs of Power I haven't read yet. Been on my shelf for ages. Precious Catastrophe by Deirdre Sullivan is the second book in a series, but I just decided that I read the first one, I enjoyed it, but that was fine. I didn't need the next one, so I'm counting that as read. The Gifts That Bind Us by Carolyn O'Donoghue and Every Gift a Curse, same as the one I just talked about, the Precious Catastrophes. I've read them, but I've read the first one and I'm happy with that. I don't need to continue, so I'm marking them as read because I've just decided to DNF the series. And The Forgetting of Georgie Spider I have read. Alright, so let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I've read 20 and I have not read. What does that mean? I haven't read 25. Yep, so mathematically I have to unhaul 2 books. So I could unhaul from my unread pile, or I could unhaul from my read pile. Unhauling from my already read pile would help with the just sheer number of books in the house, and am I ever going to realistically read them? But unhauling from the haven't read yet pile would help with my brain. Alright. I need to think about this. I've decided, let me move back to where I was. I've decided I'm going to unhaul Children of Blood and Bone and Children of Virtue and Vengeance. They are gorgeous covers. I haven't heard the greatest things about the second one, Children of Virtue and Vengeance. I was enjoying the first one, but honestly, I feel like the time has passed and I feel like I'm just not. I mean, I was enjoying them. Will I get around to... I don't want to unhaul them because I think I'd enjoy them if I read them, but honestly I feel like it's just the time has passed and I just don't know that I'm going to pick them up. I've got so many books on my unhaul, on my to be read pile that I'm interested in, and these are ones that every time I look at them I'm like, do I really care? I just think the time has passed for them, if you know what I mean. So I think I'm going to unhaul these ones. Yes, I'm going to unhaul these ones, even though they do look gorgeous and I do feel kind of bad about it, but there's just so many good books around and I just don't need to feel bad about not reading books. So if I get rid of them, I won't have to look at them and feel bad about it. So those are the two I'm unhauling as punishment for having not read half of the books on the list of books I was supposed to have read before I turned 45, because I don't know if I even mentioned this, I turned 45 this year. I turned 45 in March. So yeah, I should have read those books and I only read less than half of them, although I read 20, so I still feel like that's okay, but definitely needs to be improved. But anyway, comment any thoughts you have below. Are there any books that you really want me to read that I should prioritize? Let me know if you think I should do a 50 before 50, because I've got 5 years now. I could do it now and, you know, would have more time. Let me know if there's any books off the list that I talked about that I should unhaul because they're not worth it. Any comments that you want to make, please do so in the comments below. If you'd like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me the thumbs down emoji because I think I did really badly. And yeah, I need encouragement to be better. So leave me the thumbs down emoji and hopefully that will help. But yeah, that's everything I wanted to talk with you about today. So that's everything. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next time.